back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live. We are live, as you can see from the 336. It is the holidays, and ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 72 of the 815 Exchange. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in the 336. Like I said, I am back home. If I kind of went dark last week on my YouTube community, I apologize. I had finals going on. I was studying like a menace, alright, because we had to finish the job. It was like Kobe. After game 6, job wasn't done. After Monday, so I had to finish the job. It appears that I did finish the job, so did good there. Did all that, and then I'm not gonna lie, I've been on a Spiderman and GTA induced bender for the past 2 days, so I have not been a human at all. So there's no better way than to re-indict myself back into society than with what you normally do on Monday here with the 815 Exchange. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it was a stacked week in sports. It wasn't. We had some pretty major events happen though, like what we're gonna talk about in combat sports. With JP, what else? Oh, that Spider-Man movie came out. That was pretty decent. Spoiler alert for that, when we get to the entertainment segment. So we got that type of stuff to talk about. I'm not going to sit here and claim it's going to be a shorter episode because I know how this goes. I've been doing this for 72 episodes. I say it's a shorter episode, and suddenly we're at an hour, and I'm still here blabbering. So, without further ado, as always, so we can get this undergoing, get this intro done, social media links, timestamps in the description as always. And, as always, like, share, and subscribe if you are enjoying the content. It is much appreciated. We are getting closer and closer to 500 subscribers, which would be halfway to 1,000, which would just be dope. So I appreciate it. Appreciate all the love from you guys. Reaction videos. I'll try to. Well, actually, I'm not gonna try. I'm going to get back. And now that I'm not, hampered down by school, maybe we can, do a little bit more. We'll see. Life can sometimes get in the way, but we'll see. I'll try to get that out for you guys. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I said we were starting off with combat sports because we have something to talk about. So let's get it done. Combat sports, boxing in particular right now. Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley 2. Did not live up well. The actual fight did not live up to the predecessor. Not that the predecessor was like Ali Frazier. I mean, it wasn't that great either. But this was bad. For the first 6 for the first 6 rounds, because the knockout happened in the 6th round, it was god awful. It was god awful. I will never, and I tweeted this out, I think. I texted it to my friends. You cannot pay me to watch another Tyron the Frozen One Woodley fight. Not just because of what happened to him and what was in the title and the thumbnail of this video and what you've seen all over social media, but just because I cannot stand to watch him fight another. I just can't. I cannot. I got tired of watching an ugly 1-2 and then let me lock in the deep hooks like I'm going for the takedown. In fact, he went for the takedown one time and I guess he got it. I mean, it was just atrocious. It was atrocious. Not that Jake was doing anything crazy, but it was absolutely, it was atrocious. It was atrocious. All right. For all the talk about he's been, training since he lost, I didn't really see it. He came in with a little bit of a different game plan, but it wasn't any good. It wasn't. Let me tell you, it wasn't any good. In this fight, it wasn't any good. It was not any good. But, it did have a great last 10 seconds. As, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Jake Paul, he put him to sleep. He sent him to the Netherrealm, like I said on TikTok. He put him to sleep. He was out like a light. He got knocked out. There's not really any way to sugarcoat that. Tyron Woodley got KO'd by Jake Paul, and it was a vicious KO. That right hand was vicious. Now let me, as I always have to do with any type of celebrity boxing, and particularly with Jake Paul, this was not rigged. I'm sorry. I know, once again, like I said, the last 3 times we've covered this on this show, I'm sorry. I know it breaks your heart. It breaks your heart of hearts that Jake Paul won a boxing match against a retired athlete. I know it breaks your heart deep inside. You just can't believe that somebody that's been training for boxing for 3 to 4 years was able to knock out a washed MMA fighter. I'm sorry that it's just so inconceivable. It's not rigged. It's not rigged. Him dropping his guard was not a sign. It was a sign of bad defense. It was a sign of him falling for that feint because he thought when Jake went down, because in the fight he had, if you watch the fight, as ugly as it was and as unwatchable as it was, he had gone to the body successfully, unsuccessfully a couple times. So when he dropped and went like that, but then came overhand with it, caught Woodley by surprise. He got him with a clean shot. It is what it is. It happens. It's combat sports. Now, all you filthy casuals that hate Jake Paul and come on here with your conspiracy theory that, oh, this is rigged, go. Get up out of here. I know you're not. You're just going to keep, running him a check and keep paying to watch this guy fight until he loses. But get up out of here, man. It's not rigged. It's not rigged. It's not rigged. I don't know what to tell you. It's not. It's not. There's corruption in boxing. There's no corruption there. He put him to sleep. You physically cannot fall on your face like that. You can't. Try it at home. Go right now and go try to fall on your face and see if you don't instinctually try to stop yourself with your hands or whatever, your reflexes, if you have those. You will do that. This man did not fall on his face on purpose. This man did not get knocked out and lose all credibility with anybody. I don't know how he was able to go back to his family and look them in the eyes. Look your kid in the eye and say, Dad, what happened? And you got to be like, I don't know, son. He knocked me out. Got KO'd by Jake Paul. Sure, he got $1 million bag for it. But that doesn't, it doesn't mean it's rigged. So get out of here with that. Jake is, I can't even really say it. I mean, he's getting better, obviously. I wouldn't necessarily say he's good. He's been good for a while for, I guess, a celebrity. But in terms of a boxing ability, I can't say he's fully good yet. Like everybody's been saying, it's time for a real boxer. Hopefully he just runs it back with Tommy. I know he's saying Tommy's, time's up or whatever. And all the, hype and whatever, blah, 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 the talking, the marketing aspect. But I think just run it back from a skill standpoint. I think all perfect together. We can see if he knocks out or he takes down Tommy Fury, then move on up and go from there and go from there and go from there. So all credit due to Jake. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's got the marketing aspect because y'all keep tuning in and y'all keep getting very, very, very angry every time he wins. So he clearly knows what he's doing marketing-wise. And in the ring, he's undefeated. So it is what it is. For Woodley, retire. Retire. Take your money. Use it wisely. You're done. You're finished. Do not go to Bellator and get your knocked out. Do not go to one and get your knocked out. Don't want to see it. You've already tarnished your legacy as much as you can. This is it. Do not end up like BJ Penn because you are very close, my friend. Very, very close to reaching BJ Penn status. But with that said, Jake, congratulations. Congrats on the win. Tyron, I would say better luck next time, but hopefully there's no next time. Amanda Serrano dominates Miriam Gutierrez to no surprise. Amanda versus Katie Taylor is going to be one of the highest level female boxing matches we have ever had. And of course, it's going to be for all of the marbles. Probably undisputed. Probably for pound number one, depending on Claressa. Yeah, very excited for that one. I would definitely, even though I tuned into this one, I would definitely be tuned into Serrano versus Taylor whenever I guess the next Jake Paul fight is, since they're tandem now. But yeah, Serrano, one of the best ever for a reason. Dominates Gutierrez. Her versus Katie is going to be very, very interesting, man. It's going to be very, very interesting. A lot of people have been wanting that fight for a long time. So, very, very excited for that one. And honestly, of the fights I watched on this card, the fight of the night was somehow Darren Williams versus Frank Gore. D. Will versus Gore was fight of the night. Honestly, not that Gore looked great, but D. Will didn't look bad. Now, he did the right thing. He said, I'm done. He retired afterwards. That's the right thing. But D. Will was not bad. He wasn't bad. I gotta say, my boy D. Will was not bad. His jab wasn't too bad. He was throwing little combinations. He looked better than Tyron Woodley, if I'm being honest. He looked much better than Tyron Woodley. I would be down if they want to keep doing this NFL NBA series. Honestly, it was cool. Nice little fight. Frank wasn't really good, but he didn't look like too out of depth, if you know what I mean. And it was an entertaining fight. We had D. Will do that combination, looked like he rocked Gore. Then he threw him down. Then Gore got back up. And then he threw D. Will down, turned into a street fight for a little bit. But yeah, it was very, very entertaining. Shout out to Gore. Shout out to D. Will. Both of those guys, legends in their own respective fields. And yeah, appreciate them, for putting in the effort, hopping in the ring, getting it done, putting on a show for the fans. We enjoyed it. So yeah, shout out to D. Will. Shout out to Frank Gore. In the UFC, we had a UFC Fight Night, the last UFC event of the year, I believe. The Black Beast KOs, broke the KO record for the UFC, by the way. KOs Chris Dukakis. And then he said he wanted a 3-round title fight, which is cute. Is cute. It makes sense, right? It's never going to happen, but it makes sense, so you don't have to work on cardio and you can just go and swing and bang like nobody does swinging and banging like the Black Beast does. As we know after we watched Amanda Nunes the week before, last week's episode. Nobody swings and bangs like the Black Beast, and yeah, he got the vicious KO here again. Wonder Boy, listen, for all our Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fans, it was a dark time. Wonder Boy got dominated. He got dominated. That's all I can really say about it. Our boy got dominated. Shout out to Bilal, though. Bilal looked very good. Title shot, don't know if I go that far. You're like one fight away. You beat one of these contenders after Wonder Boy, then definitely title shot. I'm definitely cool with that for Bilal. But you're getting close. You're an emerging contender. All credit to Bilal. Wonder Boy, it's feeling like it's time. You don't really have the same wrestling, grappling attributes you used to have. It seems like you're taking a step back. So hopefully you're able to get a good fight in your swan song, and you can go out as one of the best to almost get it. But yeah, congrats to Bilal. Great job. Great win. And with the remaining time, I might as well skipping over to the college football. We had the bowl game start this past week. And of course, it was National Signing Day, and I got plenty to talk about to National Signing Day. But first, we're going to talk about these bowl games, right? We had Western Kentucky take on App State, and the big story, of course, here was Bailey Zappe, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I think he's proven it all year. He finishes his season with 5,967 yards passing, almost 6,000 yards. 62 touchdowns, breaking Joe Burrow's passing touchdown record. In this game against App State, in which Western Kentucky won 59-38, he goes 33 for 47, 422, and 6 touchdowns. Jareth Stearns, his leading receiver, 13 receptions, 184, 3 touchdowns in this game. For the season for Stearns, 150 receptions, 1,902 yards, and 17 touchdowns. They put up NCAA numbers. NCAA numbers for Western Kentucky. They're in our conference for Charlotte, so we had to deal with that. Zappe is the truth. He's real. Very, 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 very real. Chase Bryce had 317 and 4 touchdowns, but in the shootout, and we had a couple of them the kickoff bowl season, it was all Western Kentucky. Zappe, he's a monster, man. He's a monster. Monster season. Congratulations to him on all the records. That system is just, it works. It works for them. It's going to be interesting to see what they do without Zappe and Stearns next year. But, yeah, Zappe, I think he definitely needs some, I almost said Heisman for whatever reason. Some NFL. He needs some NFL looks. I know some scouts have started to rise on him But I think he has an NFL skill set, so we'll see that as we start to scout some of these players as we get closer to the draft. We'll talk more about Bailey Zappe, but congrats to Western Kentucky. Coastal Carolina finished off the season strong in their bowl win. They get it done 47-41. Grayson McCall goes 22 for 30, 315, 4 touchdowns in his swan song, I believe. Or does Grayson? I think Grayson might have one more year though. He might have one more year, but yeah, McCall. He looked very, very good. Bennett, running back, I think he was 6 carries, 108, 2 touchdowns. So great offensive game from Coastal Carolina. Great job getting it done through the air. And yeah, a complete game, another shootout, but Coastal able to get it done. And for the last bowl game I'll cover, UAB was able to beat BYU, even though Al Geyer goes 192, 3 touchdowns. Wasn't enough. UAB, remember, what was it, 3-4 years ago? They didn't even have a program. Program was taken away, and here we go, back in it. They upset the number 13 team, who thought they were being disrespected by putting put into this bowl. They go and pull off the upset. So yeah, all credit to UAB. A great way they've turned that program and kind of rallied around that program. A great job there, and yeah, all credit due to them. But now let's talk about what I really want to talk about, and that's National Signing Day. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we had an all-time National Signing Day because one of the most unbelievable moves in National Signing Day history, one of the most unbelievable moves in football recruiting history occurred. The number 1 player in the country, Travis Hunter, cornerback / receiver, possibly number 1 in both of those, respectively. Number 1 player in the country, Travis Hunter. You've seen him. You know who he is. Flipped after 2 years of commitment, almost 3, to Florida State through thick and thin. Held them down, recruited for them when they were in the dumps, when they were on the pier of mediocrity. Travis Hunter stood by Mike Norvell and Florida State. But ladies and gentlemen, on Wednesday morning, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, pulled off one of the greatest recruiting upsets of all time, possibly the, as Jackson State shook the world. Jackson State and Deion Sanders flipped Travis Hunter from Florida State. And there was layers to this. Because this was one of the most cold-blooded moves I have ever seen in recruiting. I mean, it was cold-blooded. Not only did Deion take the cornerstone of this Florida State, the guy who was supposed to change the program, right? Not only did Jackson State take them, but Deion took the most prized, probably, defensive back recruit they've had, maybe even going back to Deion. They took him away from Florida State. He took Travis Hunter, the number 1 player in the country, away from his alma mater, where he is beloved. They might not let him back in Tallahassee. It's a cold world. It is a cold, cold world. The night before, took him the night before signing day. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, I think it was an hour before he announced, you started hearing rumblings about it. I was like, there's no way. Even though it was like the reputable sources, like Will Thong and whatnot. And I was like, there's no way, man. There's no way. He's really going to do this. And then with another cold-blooded announcement in which he threw the Auburn hat, threw the Georgia hat, put on the Florida State hat, but then threw that one, then showed off the ball skills, the hand-eye coordination, with a very impressive catch of the Jackson State hat, and then unzipped the jacket to announce. Just cold-blooded. It's going to be interesting. Of course, that could push a lot of more players to, want to go this HBCU route. I love it. I know a lot of people are upset, saying Barstool was involved, they're paying him $2 million for a show, and that's why, this is bad for college football. Get out of here. Get out of here. It is a risky move. Now, I will admit it's a risky move for Travis because, the normal amount of eyeballs he would have had, the normal amount of media coverage he probably will not have at Jackson State. The competition factor could be also be another thing. He could end up like Maker Mocker, even though I think this is a little bit different. I think Travis Hunter is on a much different level prospect-wise than Maker Mocker. With all the respect to Mocker, Travis is the number one player in the country. Maker he was a solid five. I mean, he was a 5-star, but he was going to take some time. I didn't think he was like this one and done like some people thought or whatever. I was never that high on him anyway. Even when he rose up to almost number one, I wasn't that high on him. I'm this high on Travis Hunter. So if his talent does translate, he could dominate. He could end up, a lot of people said maybe Dion ends up going to Florida State when Norvell's fired. Travis will follow him there, so it could all end up working out for Seminole fans. But for now, you're down bad. It's a good move. It's a cool move. Opens up some more options, spreads the town around, shows the HBCU some love, you know. And it's not like this was a move that was just made out of the blue, by the way. Right? This was something that's been kind of simmering for a couple years in terms of this movement to have, you know, top African-American, black prospects go to HBCUs. This is not something that's just like a foreign concept that, oh, they do a bunch of money, so that's why he's doing it. This has been a movement that's been kind of going on and it's been pushing. If you don't remember, 3 years ago, Kayvon Thibodeau took a visit to Florida A&M, for those that do not know. There's been other prospects that have taken visits, whether it's in basketball or football, you know, and put these HBCUs in, you know, the conversation. Maybe it was out of like some gratitude, but still the momentum was pushing forward to it possibly happening. And it happened. And it happened. Travis did it. He shocked the world. He shook up the college football world at least. And yeah, you know, all credit. Best of luck to him. Of course, Jackson State and Travis took that L on Saturday as Jackson State lost the Celebration Bowl. Collins Hill played in a game after the state championship. I guess like not really an exhibition since it's still counting against the record, but played, I forget who, from Washington, got beat. So both of them took an L there. But throughout the week, they took the dub. Congrats to Travis. Texas A&M dominated National Signing Day. It feels like everybody is going to that school. Jimbo is trying to build a Death Star. You got GBD, Walter Nolan. I mean, there's so many 5-stars on that defensive line. I'm losing track. Evan Stewart. Denver Harris committed on Saturday. Connor Weigman. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Anaya White. It's ridiculously stacked. Ridiculously stacked. Ridiculously stacked. All credit, though, to him. All credit to him. Hey, better than Alabama. Honestly, it'll make the SEC even more interesting. But yeah, Texas A&M dominating recruiting. USC was able to hold down and pull off Damani. Even though Eli is going to Bama, we're able to get Damani at least out of that. Which, honestly, as a USC fan, even though I wanted both of them, and Eli is already a proven commodity, definitely wanted Damani for the future. One of the best quarterbacks in the nation, one of the best players in the nation. Definitely had to make sure we got that. Cade Klubnik capped off his a legendary Texas high school career, signed with Clemson as expected, and won a third straight state championship. MJJ's going to Georgia. But yeah, interesting National Signing Day. Of course, Jackson State and Texas A&M being the big stories there. You guys can let me know how you felt your team did during National Signing Day. But yeah, that was college football. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it. Entertainment. But, spoiler alert. Listen, skip ahead right now. I'm about to spoil all of No Way Home if for some reason you haven't seen it yet. I'm about to spoil like a madman. So please, skip ahead. I'll give you 5 seconds. Alright, you here. You sure? Okay. Alright. Like I said, spoilers. Don't get mad at me. That third act was so good. This movie was so good. This was so good. One of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite movies, I think, of all time. I've seen it twice. So good. So good. I haven't felt, coming out of the first time I watched it, of course, I haven't felt that way coming out of a movie theater in terms of emotions since Endgame. This was a very, I mean, they weren't lying. This was worth the hype. They were not lying about what they said in terms of emotional weight at the end of the story here in this movie. It was tremendous. It was tremendous. The acting, Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man. He's the best Spider-Man. He's the best Spider-Man. We can argue that. We can argue that, but Tom, I think this one kind of helped make him the definitive Spider-Man. He's done it more than anybody in terms of appearances, and also, I mean, I'm gonna get to the other Spider, but I had to give Tom his props because I mean, the acting, man, he acted his off in this. Just goodness. When Tom Holland cries, I want to cry. That third act, I'm gonna get to it. William Dafoe, amazing. Green Goblin, speaking of menaces, the real menace is Green Goblin. William Dafoe is such an incredible actor. Green Goblin was done so well in this movie, and just kind of him just reigning terror over Peter's life. It was so well done. Alfred Molina, again, he was perfect as Doc Ock, and what Doc Ock brung. Everybody, Jamie killed it. Sandman killed it. And then, of course, Toby and Andrew. Oh, you know, even though we knew they were going to be in there. Like, it was the worst kept secret in all of Hollywood. But it still felt so good to see them walk through the portal. It felt so good to see them back. And just the dynamic between the three of them it was so good, man. The humor, that iconic shot of the three of them kind of all perched. That I want to make the thumbnail, but I don't want to spoil for anybody. Even though I would make that a part of the thumbnail. Maybe I did, but it was so good, man. It was so good. It was so good. If you're listening to me and you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie. If you've seen the movie, go see the movie again. It was a tremendous movie. Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Aunt May, rest in peace. I hate that they killed her. I'm going to miss Marissa Tomei. Not just because she's very attractive, but also because I think she was really good Aunt May. And she made sense as Aunt May, right? I'm going to be honest, right? Not that I forget her name, who was Aunt May for Toby, right? In the first series. She was great as Aunt May. But let's be honest now. It doesn't really make sense for Peter Parker to be in his teens and 20s and to have a 70, 80-year-old aunt. That don't make no sense, bro. That makes absolutely no sense. So Marissa was more of a realistic age for, Peter's aunt. And, her dynamic with Happy, her dynamic with Peter will be missed. She served as his Uncle Ben, so she still had a big moment. Definitely will miss Marissa in that. Multiverse, Doctor Strange, it was fantastic. Of course, we had the trailer and the end credits. We also had Venom. He left some of the symbiote, so we'll see how that happens, probably in the college trilogy. This ended up being what Marvel did. Is said, we're not doing an origin movie. We're just going to do an origin trilogy, and it's kind of reset Spider-Man and Peter where we normally see Peter is. And that's kind of, in that shacked up small apartment, probably having to go work, I'm assuming, for Triple J. We'll see if he ends up at Empire State or if he ends up at MIT. We'll see. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be done. He's kind of been reset. He doesn't have Stark, tech anymore. I'll miss the suits because they were dope, and I'll miss the tech because it was dope. I wasn't one of those people that was all, he's Ironborn Jr., but you can't really make that claim anymore. I mean, he's separated himself, and what a movie, though. What a movie. I know that was probably a sloppy review, but it was tremendous, dude. It was tremendous. I probably forgot to talk about something, but tremendous. A lot of rumors about Kraven the Hunter. We saw him in the sky. We also saw Black Cat. I would love to see Felicia Hardy. I would love to see a live-action Felicia Hardy and kind of him dealing with that in his college trilogy. So, we'll love that. And, of course, Zendaya, Jacob, killed it as always as Ned, and MJ. MJ and Peter, man. MJ and Peter. Shout out to Tom Holland, though. Shout out to Zendaya as well. Because, what a couple. They're so cute. They're so cute. I normally not, this up in, I'm not, and even I'm not really like obsessed with like them, but they're a cute couple. They're a cute couple. They got my stamp of approval. Z and Tom, or was it Tom Dea is their couple name. So yeah, shout out to them. Chemistry was perfect on screen. Tough that they forgot him at the end, but yeah, can't wait for more Spidey, can't wait for more Marvel. And speaking of more Marvel, we had Hawkeye episode 5, of course. Yelena, Kingpin. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. We had Matt Murdock show up in Spider-Man, but that was after we saw Kingpin in Hawkeye, and I guess we'll see if Vincent D'Onofrio, who is amazing as Kingpin. He is perfect as Kingpin. I guess he's about to show up in Hawkeye here in the season finale. That's going to be interesting. He's the guy that's calling the hits, as Kingpin does. We saw Yelena and Kate kind of meet up in that incredible dinner scene. And Yelena making those threats. Can't wait to see how that friendship and relationship evolves. We saw Ronan return against Echo for a moment in time. But yeah, episode 5 was great. Can't wait to see how the season finale goes. It feels like it was just like this. It feels like we just got Hawkeye and it's about to be over already. But great episode 5. The Witcher came out. I haven't seen it yet. Haven't been able to get around to watching The Witcher season 2. But it is out. I will be watching it. And we'll talk about it probably next week, episode 73. Roddy Ricch, music. Roddy Ricch dropped Live Life Fast. A lot of people were disappointed with this album. First listen, I thought it was pretty good. But I haven't got to that second listen, so before you slander me, let me go around. I don't know if anything really stood out, though, like the box or, anything off of, excuse me for being antisocial. There was some songs that were like on the fence, but there are also some songs I really liked. So gonna need that second listen to help me kind of filter through and get a definitive rating. So no rating. You can let me know how you feel about it. But yeah, I don't know if it was as good even after first listen. Off that fresh listen and being happy that Roddy's back. I don't know if it was as good as, excuse me for being antisocial, but we'll get around to that second listen and you can let me know how you feel about it. But yeah, it's been an interesting week in the NFL, which we've had to make some adjustments due to COVID. So we got 2 games here on Monday. I think we even got a game on Tuesday, yeah, if I'm correct. We got 2 games on Tuesday, so not as much to talk about this week in the NFL as we got 4 games that have been pushed back because of COVID. But we still do have plenty to talk about. Don't get it messed up. On Thursday, we had probably the best Thursday night game of the year. Kansas City versus Los Angeles, which you probably could have predicted on paper. KC was able to eke it out 34-28 over the Chargers. Patty Mahomes was in fine form. He had 4-10, 3 touchdowns. Great game for Patty. Getting back into it. He hasn't had the greatest year, but overall, not a bad year. Not a bad year for Mahomes. He had the dry spell, but he's kind of getting back into it, and they're going to need him playing at the Mahomes level, the top, tier level, one of the best players in the world level that we know that Mahomes can play at. They're going to need that for the playoffs. So, yeah, Mahomes getting back into it. Kelsey also, 10 receptions, 191, 2 touchdowns. Kelsey, once again, going to need to be the best tight end in the world. Going to need him late here, and he played like it in this game. Jay Herbo, not bad, 236, 2 touchdowns. Did have the interception, which, got to clean up the turnovers, as always. But one bad, can't really put this game on him. Was an excellent performance, if I'm being honest. An excellent performance from Kansas City. We're able to get it done in OT. Tyreek Hill also had 12 receptions, 148 and a touchdown. When the big 3 for Kansas City is going, they're going to be hard to beat. The defense was able to do enough. Kelsey walks it off. So, yeah, congrats to KC. They got the win. The Colts and the Patriots. The Patriots riding the wave of the momentum and all of the hype. But I'm going to be honest. I picked the Colts to win in this game. A lot of people were like, what? But listen, if you can stop the run with the Patriots and prevent them from establishing the run, you can beat this Patriots team. The Colts made it very simple. They said, Mac Jones, if you're really who they claim you to be, beat us. And Mac Jones is not who they claim him to be. 2 picks in this game, 26 for 45, 299 and 2 touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions. An ugly game for Mac. He looked like a rookie. He looked like a rookie in this game. It's why I think we need to slow down the hype. He's had a good year, but the Pats are putting him in the right situations. You saw him struggle in this game where they focused on him and told him to beat him, and you saw what happened. On the flip side for the Colts, passing game with Wentz wasn't really working, but Jonathan Taylor proved why he's been the best running back and really should be first-team All-Pro running back this year. Leads the league in rushing yards, 170 and a touchdown in this game for JT. Dude's a beast. And yeah, Colts were able to get the win over the Patriots. Hunter Henry had a nice day. 6 receptions, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns. But, Colts able to get it done. Congratulations to them. Bills take down the Panthers 31-14. Josh Allen goes for 3 touchdowns. Cam Newton continues to struggle. Even though he had a good game on the ground, 71 yards and a touchdown. Wasn't enough. Singletary with 86 and a touchdown. Gabe Davis had 2 touchdowns for the Bills. Let's see. Defensively, I'm looking for the interception. I feel like I'm going crazy. Yeah, AJ Klein had that interception against Cam. It started off so well. But it's just kind of going down. And I hate to see it because I like Cam. But it's just teetering down. Now, they were going against the Bills defense. They got a good defense. But it's been a rough couple weeks. Bills needed this win, by the way. Gets them to 8-6. Kind of gets them back, in contention here in the AFC East. Especially as the Patriots lost. They needed this win. They were able to get it. In the big upset of the week, however, the Lions. Yes, this is not a typo. The Lions beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals are pretenders. Once again, the Cardinals are pretenders for the 3rd straight year. I know they're the current number 1 seed. Maybe I think they might be tied or they are the number 1 seed. Pretenders. You're losing to the Lions. You're a pretender, bro. You're a pretender. I'm sorry. I love you, Kyler. I really want this Cardinals team to do well, even though I'm not a Cardinals fan, so to speak. But pretenders. Jared Goff had his best game of the season, 21 for 26, 216 and 3 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, fight on. I knew he was the truth. And he's been the truth the past couple weeks. 8 receptions, 90 yards, 1 touchdown. He has stepped up into that number 1 receiver and at least Goff's favorite target role, especially with Hawk out. Reynolds had 112 yards on the ground. The Lions dominated. They dominated. Their most complete game. Congratulations to them. Of their 2 wins, this was definitely the best one in a huge upset here. Kyler didn't have a great game. Kirk, pretty good game for Christian Kirk. 9 receptions, 94 yards, and a touchdown. But Lions, get it done. Get it done in upset fashion. The Dolphins take down the Jets 31-24. Even though 2 of their 2 picks, Dolphins were able to outlast. Devontae Adams gets the go-ahead. He had 68 yards, 4 receptions, I think, in this game. Yeah. Had that. But, wasn't the most impressive game from these 2 teams, as you would expect when you see the Dolphins and, the Jets. Not 2, high-level teams. But Dolphins were able to get the win. Jets firmly take their spot in the cellar of the AFC East. The Cowboys, Trevon Diggs gets his 10th interception as the Cowboys win 21-6 and get closer and closer to a playoff berth and the NFC East title. Offense, still a little bit. They're, kind of in the funk. Not out of it yet, but the defense held it down. Like I said. Trevon Diggs, another interception. Of course, that boy, we got to talk about him as always. No sacks this week. Giants overall did a pretty good job of stopping Marca. But overall, defense did what they needed to do. Got stops where they needed. Greg the Leg missed 2 extra points, even though, had the field goals working. We had 3 fumbles, but overall, I won't complain. We got the win. That's what's important. Steelers get the win over the Titans. They needed this one. Titans, way too many turnovers. They had 1, 2, let's count this. That is going to be a resounding 6 turnovers for the Titans against the Steelers in this game. Even though Foreman goes over 108 yards, just the turnovers killed him. The turnovers absolutely killed the Titans. Minkah Fitzpatrick went ballistic. 14 tackles from a safety is ridiculous. 14 tackles for Minkah. And yeah, just a nightmare game. A nightmare game for the Titans. Turnover galore. Got to clean that up going forward. The Texans take down the Jaguars in two of the worst teams record-wise. And probably, people would probably call off an eye test in the league. Texans get the win 30-16. Trevor, the touchdown drought continues, even though he had a solid game here. 22 for 38, 210. Nothing special, though. But, yeah. Brandon Cooks went off, 7 receptions, 102, 2 touchdowns, but don't really need to say much. Texans beat the Jaguars. Bengals take down the Broncos 15-10. Bengals also needed this to stay in contention here in the competitive, and I mean hyper-competitive AFC North. They needed this. Needed this win. Were able to get it done. All prayers, though, to Teddy H2O. Hopefully, that all comes back all clean. That was a scary, scary moment. Scary injury. But the Bengals, in a very low-scoring game, were able to get it done. The 49ers, Deebo Samuel, is the hybrid running back receiver. The way that CMC and Alvin Kamara are almost hybrid running backs receivers, Deebo is a hybrid wide receiver running back. His 5th straight rushing touchdown. 5 straight. I love it. He's on my fantasy team, so I'm all for it. Jeff Wilson held it down also in the running game, 110 and a touchdown. But like I said, Deebo Samuel does it all. He does it all. Also had 4 receptions, 60 yards to go with his 29 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Jimmy G does what he's supposed to do. And that's all you can really ask for if you're the 49ers. That's all you really need him to do. Do your job. Don't throw us out of games, and you can win games. Defense gets it done, holds it down versus the Falcons. A game that the 49ers should win. They went out and won. Great performance there. They get the win. Packers take down the Ravens in a very, very good game. They also clinched the NFC North. So congrats to the Packers. They're headed to the playoffs. Ravens. Once again, another game where they went for 2 and it failed late. Props to Harbaugh for going for it, but man, maybe just send it to overtime. Maybe just send it to overtime. I respect the gusto of the balls to do it, but listen, just send it to overtime at this point. It's not working out for y'all, but just send it to overtime. Tyler Huntley, though, I got to give credit before I praise Rodgers and co. Got to give some credit to Huntley. 215 through the air, 70 through on the ground, 4 touchdowns. Played the game of his life. Looked like he was back at Utah. All the credit due to Huntley. Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends. I'd say he's top 3. And really this season he's been top 2, and I'm not sure if he's 2. 10 receptions, 136, and 2 touchdowns for Andrews. He's been great. Also got him on my fantasy team, so we love to see it. Aaron Rodgers goes 23 for 31, 268, and 3 touchdowns. A-Rod, it's a little bit more quiet than usual. Got to be in the MVP race, in my opinion. This Packers team is the new number 1 seed. That's correct, not the Cardinals. They are the new number 1 seed after this. They moved to 11-3. Ravens, not down and out. Played a competitive game against the best team in the league by record. So, yeah. If this was, if they meet up in the, Super Bowl, if the powers that be make that happen, I would be here for it with Lamar back. But Huntley, overall, he played a great game. But the Packers, congratulations, able to get it done. In the ugliest game of the week, and probably both college and the NFL, the Saints defense suffocates the Buccaneers and blinks them. Shuts them out. 9-0. 9-0. 9-0. That's not a typo. That's not no. Suffocates Brady in this explosive Buccaneers offense, who had a nightmare as Godwin's now out for the season. Just a rough game. A nightmare game that I'm sure the Bucs are going to want to put behind them. Huge win for the Saints, though. Huge win for them. Kind of puts them back on the map here and, pulls them a little bit closer to the Buccaneers. And, maybe the NFC South is not as closed off as we thought. But, yeah, Bucs going to need to put this week behind them. Godwin, like I said, out for the season. Devastating injury for the Bucs receiving corps there. But we'll see how they go forward. Huge win, though, like I said, for the Saints, and that was the NFL. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Roundup. And we're going to start off with the NFL. I said the NFL. The NBA. We're going to start off with some NBA news I hadn't talked about in a while. Steph Curry broke the three-point record. So congrats to the chef. Greatest shooter of all time. We already knew this before the record. But now he's broken the record. It's undisputed now. Nothing against Ray Allen, of course. Legend. Hall of Famer. But Steph Curry, one of the greatest point guards to ever do it. Probably going to retire as one of the best players to ever do it. And certainly the greatest shooter to ever do it. Three-point record is his. He's going to put that some ridiculously high number. And that's going to take a while to break. But yeah, shout out to Chef. KD has been great this year. 50 ball. Then he had like a 30-point triple-double the game after. KD probably leading the MVP race. The Nets looking just fine without Kyrie. Number 1 seed in the East. KD's looking great. Looking like arguably the best player on the planet. They tried to bring back, here's my transition, right? Tried to bring back Kyrie as they had some COVID stuff going on. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm being honest, COVID is running through the NBA like Hulkamania ran through the 80s. It's ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous out here. Teams are falling like this. Dropping like flies. Dropping like flies right now. They're dropping like ladies in the club when Juvenile comes out. It's bad, man. It's bad out here. It's bad out here for the NBA. It's bad. It's real bad. Tried to bring Kyrie back on a limited basis, but then he got COVID the day after. So, there's that. But like I said, overall, Nets doing well. Chef up good. Lakers have been up and down, even though LeBron's been great. But now 80's hurt. So, listen, it's just a mess in LA. But NBA, lots of interesting stuff going on. And, of course, we got the Christmas Day games, which are always great. So, we'll talk about that, I guess, next week or the week after. When it's Christmas, I think it's this weekend, right? Christmas is this weekend, so it's next week. Next Monday, we'll talk about it. But, yeah, to end off here before I run out of time, and to end off episode, what is this, 72? Episode 72. I lose track. I've done too many of these. But y'all seem to love him, so I'm going to keep doing them, and I love doing it. But Charlie Woods, man, the phenom, the second coming. I'm going to relax, though. Charlie can be whatever he wants to be. If he wants to be a dentist or a doctor, I hope he's the best in the world at that. Love Charlie Woods. However, he is an absolute prodigy in golf right now. The hype is going to be ridiculous when he comes of age, like high school age, and he starts, getting into like the amateur tournaments. It's gonna get ridiculous. At his current rate and how good he looks now for his age. But yeah, I'm rooting for you. Whatever it is, I'm rooting for Charlie Woods. Whatever he wants to be, I'm rooting for Charlie Woods. If he wants to be a golfer and follow, what it seems like he has a natural skill in, listen, I hope you're the best, Charlie. I hope you're the best. Hope they don't put too much pressure on you. Have fun with it. Enjoy it the way that your dad didn't always get to. It seems like Tiger's a great father, and I love the bond that they have. But yeah, Charlie looks like a mirror image, honestly. Sometimes when looking at him and Tiger together, they finished second in the PSC behind John Daly. But yeah, Team Woods. Shout out to John Daly's son as well. Also very good. Probably also ends up on the tour. But yeah, Charlie looked great. Tiger's return, he looked good. So yeah, that was that. And that was episode 72. I hope you guys enjoyed. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. And yeah, as you see, we got the decorations up. But back in the 336, back home with it. And yeah, so hopefully see you guys sometime this week. But for episode 72 of Day 15 Exchange, Ocho, signing off.